Good morning. I want to express, I really do appreciate actually everyone stopping whatever it is that you're in the middle of doing. That means we have 8th graders here who are in the middle of preparing for a celebration of graduation. And we have high schoolers who are in the middle worrying about a final that's coming and what grade I'm going to get, and the studying, last-minute studying. And I think that it is so important that whatever it is that we are doing, we're going to be doing, that we stop right now, just for a couple of minutes, to gather together for a few moments of tefillah. And I want to frame it by explaining why it is that that's such an important thing to do. And I want to say 3 things. The first is that I think that this is actually a fulfillment of a mitzvah deoraita. I think that the Torah actually teaches us that what we're doing right now is a particular mitzvah for a circumstance like this one. The Rambam teaches us in Hilchot Ta'aniyot, when he teaches about fasts, he says, Mitzvat asay min ha-Torah lahazik liz'ok ul'hariyah b'chatzotzrot al kol tzara shetavo l'tzibur. There's a mitzvat asay from the Torah that when a community encounters tragedy, that the community should stop and pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And he quotes a pasuk. And then he says, V'davar zeh derech midarkei hatshuvahi. To do that is in the category of doing tshuva. What tshuva means is that when we encounter something, we take that as an opportunity to reflect and to be introspective and to turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and to turn to each other. And then the Rambam says, Avalim lo yizaku v'lo yari'u. If people don't gather together to pray when something like that happens, he says, Harezu derech achzariyut. It's in the category of being a cruel person. Those are very strong words of the Rambam. And the first point in terms of framing what this is to recognize that when we woke up yesterday and looked at the newspapers and saw that 49 people had been killed and over 50 people wounded in a senseless tragedy, cold-blooded killing, it might have happened 1,000 miles away from where we are. But it is our community, and we have an obligation to gather together, to turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and to pray. And we turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to pray in the hope that He will give the leaders of the planet wisdom, and that He will bestow upon us His kindness to somehow bring more peaceful, more sane times around some of the things that we have been seeing. And so that's one reason why we gather. The second reason is in a bein adam lachavero way, that we have to gather together so that we are in a room at the same time, sharing and making a statement about what we believe is good and right and true and worth fighting for. And I will, following Dr. Hoffman's recommendation, read to you 2 things. First is a statement of 3 lines from President Obama, who said, "This is a sobering reminder that attacks on any American, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion, or sexual orientation, is an attack on all of us and on the fundamental values of equality and dignity that define us as a country." So in addition to us turning to God in prayer, we are also standing together side by side in this room, asserting the priority of these values of freedom and dignity, saying that this was an attack on all of that. And to quote Frank Bruni, who wrote in the New York Times, who is himself gay, and he writes, "This was no more an attack just on LGBT people than the bloodshed at the offices of Charlie Hebdo in Paris was an attack solely on satirists. Both were attacks on freedom itself. Both took aim at societies that, at their best, integrate and celebrate diverse points of view, diverse systems of belief, diverse ways to love. And so the second reason is for us to be standing together, stating our commitment to the values of freedom. Lastly, the reason why I think that this is so important is because, as many of you are aware, there are gay students in our school community, some that we know of and some that we don't. And a parent who sent me an email saying, this is a really tenuous, fragile moment for some people within our own community. And I think that it's important for us, as we're in a room together, to reflect in exactly this kind of way about the ways or the things that we need to do in order to ensure that our environment is a safe environment and that we model that for others as well. And that has to do with language that we use, the ways that we think, particularly the ways that we talk to each other, and particularly in the way in which it shapes our own environment. And so I will recap my 3 points, and then we're going to say some Tehillim. We daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in an SAR in the hope that we should not see tragedy like this, and God should bring peace to the communities around the world. 2, we stand together in recognizing that freedom is important to fight for no matter what, and that this is an attack on freedom in its broadest sense. And 3rd, part of our Darkei Teshuvah is to be really thoughtful about the kind of community that we are shaping, and to make sure that those, whoever it might be, if somebody's feeling vulnerable, we have to be able to make sure we got to do what we can to be able to prop each other up and to be able to make sure that this is a safe environment for every person in this community. And with that, I'm going to ask everyone to please stand. We will recite 3 Prakim of Tehillim. I also, as we're reciting Tehillim, want to ask you to have in mind, there's a member of the SAR community, a parent in the community who went missing yesterday. And it's a very different story, but something that as we are davening should have in mind. His name is Chaim Yosef ben Esther Malka. Chaim Yosef ben Esther Malka, please have him in mind as well. We will say 3 Prakim of Tehillim per Kuf Chaf. Shir Amalo Tel Adonai Batzarasali Karasi Vayaneni Adonai Atzila Nafshi Misvat Sheker Milashon Rimiyah Ma'itein Lecha U'ma Yosif Loach Lashon Rimiyah Chitzei Gibor Shinunim Im Gachalei Resamim Oyeli Ki Gerti Meshach Shachanti Malei Kedar Rabba Shachna La Nafshi Im Sonei Shalom Ani Shalom V'chi Adaber Heima LaMilchama Shir Lama'alo Sesayinai Leharim Me'ayin Yavo Ezri Ezri Me'im Adonai Yosei Shamayim V'aretz Al Yitein Lamot Raglecha Al Yanum Shamrecha Hinei Lo Yanum B'lo Yishan Shomer Yisrael Adonai Shomrecha Adonai Tzilcha Al Yad Yaminecha Yomam HaShemesh Lo Yakeka V'yareach B'layla Adonai Yishmarcha Mikol Ra Yishmor Es Nafshecha Adonai Yishmor Tzescha Uvarecha Me'ata V'yad Olam Shir Ma'alos Mimamakim Krasicha Adonai. Adonai Shema V'Koli Tiana Znecha Kashuvos L'Kol Tachanunai. Im Avonos Tishmarya Adonai Miyamo. Ki Imcha Haslicha L'man Tivarei. Kivisi Adonai Kivsa Nafshi V'Lidvaro Cholti. Nafshi L'Adonai Mishal Mirim Laboker Shal Mirim Laboker. Yachel Yisrael El Adonai Ki Im Adonai Chesed V'Arbe Imo Fidus. V'hu yiftes Yisrael mikol avonosav. We conclude as Americans singing the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets trembling, the bombs bursting in air, they proved through the night our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. May God accept our tefillot. Thank you, everyone, for your flexibility. Good luck on your finals.